Howdy. This is a series now. Transformers has stalked me for years, but it finally pounced and there's no escape. I'm a little invested in Transformers, and I'm gonna go through each of the shows and movies very slowly. I yapped a lot about Transformers in my first video, and I won't be recapping that for you. So, after this first video, I started to tackle the original series, the Bay movies, and Transformers the Animated Series. I'm having trouble finding the 5th Bay movie, and I really don't want to pay for it. And Gen 1 is just so long, but I finally finished the animated series. So, that's what we're going to talk about. Here's an unorganized rant about Transformers the Animated Series.
Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything with that! No!
Do I even need to say that this review of a show from 17 years ago will have spoilers? At first, this show gave me Batman Beyond vibes. I really liked the setup. It was a different take on our beloved characters. Young Optimus was interesting. Old cranky Ratchet was neat. Megatron with a seductive voice made me question if a relationship with a Transformer would make me a furry.
Oh, so very brave of you.
But I think that's the main problem with the show. The setup was great, but then it didn't do anything.
What?
So you have young Optimus Prime, who was never in the war, and he meets Megatron, this ancient warlord, and you'd expect them to build this feud and rivalry, but no, Megatron doesn't even remember Optimus's name until the 3rd season.
You're a persistent little Autobot.
My name is Optimus Prime!
And honestly, Optimus has more beef with the Constructicons than he does with Megatron. Without the beef between these two main characters, if Megatron even qualifies as that, then the show quickly loses my attention. It got real boring and repetitive when Megatron and the Decepticons weren't even on screen. That being said, the Autobots still had their moments. I can see how this crew paved the way for the next show, Transformers Prime. I mean, it literally has the same crew except swap out Prowl with RC, which was really lame, by the way. I don't care if they're both motorcycles. Prowl and his stupid vibe magic was wild and hilarious, and I miss it already. On the topic of paving the way for Transformers Prime, I like how toward the end of the show, Bulkhead became more than just an idiot. They made him randomly super smart with space bridges, and eventually that spilled over into him being smarter in other things too. Definitely a good choice and an upgrade to his character. I think originally they wanted to mimic Patrick from SpongeBob since they have the same voice actor, but Transformers is way too serious of a story for that kind of dumb character. And of course, all of that led the way for Bulkhead and Prime to be more of a complex character. Ironically, I feel like Ratchet in Animated is slightly less complex than he is in Prime. Don't get me wrong, Prime Ratchet will always be my favorite. However, the many flashbacks and story arcs with Animated Ratchet were really good.
Do you have any idea what's going on, Ratchet?
What was that, Prime?
I don't care what you say, Omega Supreme is his son, and I feel so bad about everything that they went through together. Also, if Omega Supreme is Ratchet's son, then RC is definitely the mom. You can't tell me otherwise. It's a cute little awkward family.
What you're looking at, Field Tech Ratchet, is a prototype Autobot weapon of mass destruction.
You see, Omega Supreme was purposely designed to have a very simple processor. With it, he will be able to carry out his mission without hesitation.
In other words, you don't want him to think too hard about all the devastation he's gonna cause.
But now, since the recognition code has been transferred, that mentor bot is you, Field Tech Ratchet.
You must gain the trust of Omega Supreme.
And then what? Teach him how to be a doomsday device?
I am Omega Supreme. I am yours to command. I am your pupil, your dependent, your obedient servant.
I am Ratchet. I am your friend.
Also, he said the I'm a medic line, and I still want to believe that's a reference to Star Trek.
So what do we do now?
What are you asking me for? I'm a Metabot, not a field commander.
Who else is there? Okay, Optimus Prime was fine, I guess, but without his war experience, love for sentient life, or beef with Megatron, he just felt very out of character. Then there's Bumblebee. My friend and I were watching the show together, and it got so bad that we started skipping forward whenever B came on screen. It became like a little game for us. He was terrible, and he made me want to quit watching the show entirely. The fact that Transformers went from this...
I didn't say my double agent on Cybertron.
Yeah, but...
And Wasp just escaped from prison. That can't be a coincidence. All I have to do is trace that signal. I'll not only find Megatron's hideout here on Earth, I'll nail that traitor spy bot Wasp on Cybertron.
Don't you think we ought to tell Prime about this first?
By the time he gets back from patrol, the trail will be cold. We gotta move now.
To this... is wild. I guess I should mention the villains then. They're great. Lugnut was lame, but Blitzwing, Starscream, Shockwave, Soundwave, and Megatron were all great. Blitzwing was very entertaining, and the voice actor did an awesome job.
I will choose this fighter jet. No! The assault tank! Jet. Tank! The jet. Tank! Jet. Tank! Why not scan both?
Starscream was really good too, and I think they highlighted the best elements of his character, probably even better than Transformers Prime did.
I volunteer to deploy and breach the Autobot ship.
I didn't spend the last 4 million solar cycles searching the galaxy just so you could lay your greasy wings on the Allspark.
Ow,
I will harness its energy into the ultimate weapon and crush the Autobots for good.
Shockwave was wildly different than what I was used to, but it was really interesting. Him being a shape-shifting double agent actually made me interested in the story again when B was making me want to quit the show. And Soundwave was fantastic. I love the Minicons being guitars. So cool. I want a Soundwave robot so bad. As for the side characters, I loved a few of them and absolutely despised or didn't care about all the other ones, so here are the ones that I loved. Weird Al as Wreck-Gar was precious and must be protected at all costs. When Ratchet yelled at him and made him a Decepticon, I wanted to just throw Ratchet into the ocean to see if he could swim.
Wreck-Gar, I am some new kind of Autobot!
Listen up, Scrap Heap. You're not an Autobot, and you never will be an Autobot. You're only good for one thing. Garbage!
I am Wreck-Gar. I am only good for one thing. Garbage! I must deliver garbage to all!
Omega Supreme is just a big lad who didn't ask for any of these hardships. I want him to live a peaceful life with Ratchet and RC when this is all over.
Get back on your feet, soldier!
Can't. Too weak.
What's with him anyway?
Omega Supreme is our last line of defense. If you'd seen as many bots fall as he has, you'd have a pretty grim outlook, too. I won't let you go offline again!
A few moments later.
Gaslighting Starscream was really funny, and I loved hearing him say this wrong thing with just 1,000% confidence. Female Starscream. It was a time, but I like her agency and her color scheme.
Haven't you figured it out yet? He's a pathological liar. Each of us clones represents one aspect of your personality. He's a coward. He's an egomaniac. He's a suck-up. He's a liar.
I am not. So, which part of me did you come from?
Don't ask.
Rodimus. I'll be honest, I put him on the list of characters that I like, but as I'm typing up the script, I don't even remember who he was. So, you know, take that as you will. And finally, Blur. My precious little baby got turned into an ice cube.
Agent Blur?
While stationed on Earth, I intercepted a transmission between Megatron and his double agent on Cybertron, who I can now positively identify as the Decepticon Shockwave. Further analysis revealed that Shockwave's voice print did not match up with that of the suspected traitor Wasp. However, a detailed cross-reference with the Cybertron Intel database should determine the identity of the real traitor.
Have you shared this information with anyone else?
I have not! Per your orders!
Good.
Do you normally make it a habit to attack your own bots, sir? I mean, it seems a little strange, perhaps even Decepticon-like behavior, if you don't mind my saying so. In fact, if I didn't know better, I would venture a guess at this point that you're trying to eliminate me for some unknown reason!
I know I can't catch you, but I can trap you.
Anyways, Transformers Animated, oddly enough, embodies that random nature that Gen 1 had. If you could think of it, Animated has it. You want to see Starscream as a girl? You got it. Soundwave, but he's an actual robot? Why not? Bulkhead can build a space bridge from scratch? Sure thing. Ratchet has actual PTSD? Yeah, that makes sense. Sure, why not? Prowl is literal magic? Yep, cool. You want to detach your head now? Why didn't I think of that? The human sidekick is actually a robot? Okay. Shockwave was a shapeshifter? Sure. Transformers can get drunk on oil?
The Autobots oil tastes like water next to this stuff.
It's my private blend.
Did anybody even watch Transformers before writing this? Don't get me wrong, I'm not upset. I just am thoroughly confused. So my boy Skyfire is in this show. He's a twin now and just a little guy. They introduced him in season 3 and yeah, I mean, I don't know, they're fine. I really like their designs. Toward the end of the show, it really started getting interesting. I think they realized about halfway through that they weren't getting a season 4, so they had to throw a ton of lore in at the last second. We get conclusions and explanations that I would have liked sprinkled throughout the show to keep my interest rather than all of it at the end. For example, Arachnid's story was sick. Oh my Primus, that was crazy. I was not expecting that. I loved it, and I really wish that they did more with her.
I did once.
A robot? With an organic mode? Ew! There is no way I would ever have anything to do with a mutant freak like you!
That's not what you said when you dragged me along on your little treasure hunt to a Decepticon warship. You remember? The one with the unstable energon cubes? And the spiders?
Elita 1?
It's Black Arachnia now, Sentinel.
I also wish that we had gotten more of Prowl's backstory in season 1. In the first season, he's introduced as this ninja guy who loves nature, but it takes all the way until season 3 for his backstory. So basically, he avoided the draft to fight with the Autobots. He wasn't there to save his master. Ratchet blew up his ship, so Optimus gave him a ride, which eventually leads him to serving in the war, which he tries so hard to avoid.
Peekaboo. I'm over here.
You think she'd be laughing if you were a giant robot?
That's the point. Being human gives me a better sense of what this holiday season means. I'm thankful for just being alive in any form.
Yeah, hold on to that feeling, buddy. By this point, Shockwave reunites with Megatron, and I really like the scene that he shifted to his classic colors. It was such a little moment, but I thought it was neat. Toward the end, we also got the best episodes ever, being the human era episodes. So in these episodes, Soundwave returns and mind controls the Autobots into a version of Earth where they're human. It was really fun and heartwarming to see the Autobots, especially Prowl, interact with humans in such a gentle and normal way. I mean, Prowl always loved nature, so being able to touch and feel and truly be a part of nature was such a wholesome experience for him. So to battle Soundwave, Sorry teams up with some B-list characters to save the day, and one of them is my boy Wreck-Gar. They did him so dirty in season 1. I'm so glad he came back here at the end.
Rick the bot with strings of garbage. Fa la 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 la.
You're with me.
Gosh, this is so sudden. Aren't we a little young to go steady?
Cover me.
You got it.
Then to finish off Soundwave, Optimus Prime beats Soundwave with Laserbeak, and I think that's just great. Also toward again here. We got Megatron's anime magic girl transformation again, and Starscream's head rolling away while laughing maniacally. So yeah, the Decepticons seem pretty normal to me. Anyways, in the finale, Prowl forgets how the Allspark works. Optimus says something that I never thought I'd hear anyone say.
I couldn't handle Starscream's fembot clone.
And then Megatron survives the nuke, and Sentinel is still the dictator of Cybertron, so yeah, why not? You know who doesn't survive? Here's the thing. You know how I know that this isn't really Optimus Prime? Because he doesn't die. Name a version of Transformers where Optimus doesn't die. In fact, in most versions, he dies twice! Anyways, I'm off to go watch more Gen 1, maybe finish the Bay movies, and then start Armada. Let me know in the comments what version of Transformers I should tackle next.